Before any interview, we tend to think, what is the interviewer going to ask us today? What kind of questions will come to his mind, and will we be able to understand the questions? Well, wouldn't it be nice if we have some sort of a framework, some sort of a categorization into which we can put these questions and prepare accordingly? Hi, I am Satyajit, and today I am going to discuss 3 categories of questions that interviewers typically ask in interviews. So stay tuned till the end of this video to know more. Today I am going to talk about the 3 categories of questions that gets asked in an interview. I will specifically talk about how the interviewer assesses you in each of these categories and what are the areas where you can trip and you can be more focused. So let's just dive in. Category 1. This is the general category questions. So these are the questions which are basically, tell me about yourself, where do you see in the next 5 years, what are your strengths and weaknesses, what are your hobbies and interests, why should we hire you. These are general questions which the interviewers may ask. So there is a long list of such general questions. In our videos you will see in this channel, we will be coming up with strategies in terms of how to answer these questions, making them customized for your responses. Now the trick here is, because these are generic questions, these are general questions, many candidates will give the same set of answers, right? Which is where, as a candidate, if you give an answer which any other candidate has given, you lose the opportunity to make an impression. So you need to think very, very hard. You need to prepare for these questions so that in each of these stories, you talk about your own story. The second category of questions are the resume based questions. So whatever resume you would have submitted, so the interviewer actually goes and flips through the resume and he is going to ask you questions from the resume. Typically, people who have work experience, the questions from the resume are more oriented, more directed towards their work experience. Now, what is the interviewer trying to do here? Now, the interviewer is trying to look for evidence between what is written in the resume and what you are saying. So, if there is a mismatch between what you have written in your resume and what you are saying, he is going to catch it, because that's the intent with which he is asking you these questions. So, to avoid that, what you need to do is you need to be very truthful in your resume. Something you have not done, you should not put it there, because if he starts cross questioning you, then you will be in a soup. That's number 1. Number 2, before going to an interview, you need to be very thorough with your resume. Many times what happens, people when you apply through online portal, you would not know what version of the resume is with the candidate, is with the interviewer. So that's also another trick that you need to understand. So you have to be very, very thorough with your resume, and you need to know every aspect of your resume so that any kind of cross question you can answer confidently. The third category of questions are the behavioral questions or the situational questions. Now, this is a category of questions where typically the interviewer will ask you, can you narrate a situation where you had a conflict with your boss? Can you talk about a situation when you were stressed and how did you get out of it? These are the questions which talks about the person's behavior or response during these kind of situations. Typically, these questions are generally asked to people who have significant work experiences, who are either looking at filling up the middle to senior management kind of roles, right? But it may not be uncommon even to ask a fresher similar questions because it also tells a lot about the person, how he responds to a certain situation, what is his behavioral model, and how he goes about in his day-to-day life in solving these scenarios. I hope with the 3 category structure that I just talked about, the next time you are going into an interview, you will be more cognizant. You can basically base your preparation in these 3 categories, prepare questions in these 3 segments, and be more confident in interviews. I hope you liked the content today, and if there is any specific interview question that you would like us to answer, please feel free to put it in the comment box. We will ensure that we make a video based on that, and which will be beneficial to you. Thank you.